in the shadow of the Mercedes-Benz Stadium last weekend. Good to be with you guys.
Great to be here.
Yeah.
We're
having a good week of practice too.
Everybody's getting their reps in this week.
I mean, Josh had to unplug his entire setup, take it down to the stadium, and then bring it home and replug it, which means lots of good reps for the production wizard that is Josh Hancher. We are here for our belated but still very thorough Oregon film review. I know some of you guys have asked where this was, so it's my fault. Actually, it's American Airlines' fault for stranding me in Dallas for many hours, twice last weekend, once on the way there, once on the way home. But we are here today to show you guys what happened. And since Georgia's playing Samford this week, you guys really don't need a big film breakdown of the other Bulldogs. So we're going to dive into this and do a little national picks preview type show tomorrow with some betting content. But yeah, excited to be back looking at film.
Graham, if a football coach was here, you just get chewed up right now for overlooking Samford. Come on,
I would. Yeah, but I'm gonna go ahead and take a look. I mean, that is the same Samford that hung like 49 in the swamp.
Absolutely. Florida had to score 70 to beat Samford. And then
I think Georgia could score 70 on Saturday, but I don't think that's what they'll have to do to beat Samford.
I don't think so.
I mean, I don't think Georgia's taking them lightly. I know that, I got a question on the Dog Central forum last night of like, is Georgia starting South Carolina prep? And like, no, they've got the Samford players numbered out on the scout team, and they'll be prepared. And I mean, honestly, we're going to talk about it here in just a second, but like, there's a lot. Even though Georgia won by 46 points, there's a lot that you can clean up from Saturday, particularly on the defensive side of the ball. And I think that's the ideal scenario if you're a football coach, right? Is you win big, you kind of make a statement game, you have some recruits say, ooh and ah, I might want to be a part of that, but you also have plenty of film to come in on Monday and say, what's going on here, guys?
Yeah, it was a Kirby Smart dream game. When you turn on the film and you see what some of the adjustments that need to be made defensively, because you can definitely sit back and pick that apart with the players, bring them back down to earth this week, but also for the national narrative, you definitely pop the lid on a lot of things in that game as well. So
I think that's what we call a perfect segue, right?
That is.
You want to jump into the defense, Graham?
Yeah, let's do it. All right, so first play of the game here, and what I want you to notice is Oregon, much like Georgia, was able to gain a lot of yards on the edges. So you're going to see Michael Williams, number 13 there. He gets caught jumping inside a little bit at the snap. First college football snap, maybe a little over eager. And both Dumas Johnson, number 10 there, and Bullard, 22, don't really get off their blocks. And so good job by Chris Smith coming down and filling it, but you'd like to see your guys on the outside getting off those blocks a little bit better. And I think you would also, really maybe like to see your edge setting the edge a little bit. But again, first college snap, I understand the eagerness to get back there to the quarterback. So yeah, clip 3 here. We've got a 3rd and 8, and this kind of starts right here on the first third down. It's some miscommunication between Mondon and Ringo up at the top of the screen. You see there, Ringo passes off that coverage, and he's pointing to the wide receiver, but Mondon doesn't pick him up. And so I'm guessing that Ringo's right because he's played in this system for a full year and Mondon hasn't. But there's a lot of pointing that we're going to point out to you on the show today of Ringo pointing at Mondon, like, what's going on here? But yeah, this big underneath route gets left open, and then to make it worse, Mondon kind of sets himself as like, now he's got a blocker between him and the pass catcher, and it's an easy first down for Oregon.
Yeah, one of the themes you'll see when you watch this is, and again, I think it's early in the season and guys trying to learn to play their positions at this level for the first time in live game action. But Monken consistently drops what I feel like, and I don't know what they tell them. I don't know how Kirby coaches this or Schumann coaches this, but it feels like he drops too deep a lot of times for those underneath routes. And you see a lot of communication from the secondary to those inside linebackers telling them that it's basically like, you gotta get a little bit quicker, adjust a little bit quicker, and change your depth on those intermediate routes. It's a big theme.
Yeah, agreed. And I mean, we know Georgia likes to play this way, where they're kind of like, we're gonna make you travel all the way down the field on us, and we're gonna sit deep, and you're not gonna get cheap explosive plays. The flip side to that, though, is last year, like on those underneath routes, if it was 3rd and 8, it would drop out maybe to the first down marker. But as soon as that guy caught the ball 5 yards deep, he was getting wrapped up by Walker or Tyndall or Dean, or Scene, and it was like, we're dropping you on the spot, and there's no yards after the catch happening. And on Saturday, we saw a lot of yards after the catch.
Clip 5.
All right, so Javon Bullard, he's going to be number 22. He's playing that kind of star position. He's going to get washed out by the blocker right there. And then Monken, your inside linebacker, number 2, he's going to penetrate, but he bites too hard on the fake, basically. So all of a sudden, Bo Nix is left easy first down. You see Monken there, like, putting his hand in the dirt, trying to change directions real quick, but Nix is too athletic for that.
Next play.
Very next play, and Monken is going to make a good read this time. He's going to crash into the mesh point, and good penetration by Warren Brinson here as well. But Monken there, he comes upfield, doesn't bite on the running back too early, forces Nix to hand that off, and then makes a really nice tackle. So nice to see him kind of like learn on the go right there in real time.
And this will take us. This is one full speed, play 6, and then it'll go right into 7.
Okay. And so on 7, you're going to see this is how Georgia played most of the day on defense. Like,
actually, I guess this is behind the. Yeah, it's the same play.
Okay.
Yeah, here we go. Here's 7.
So we were just talking about not giving up the big play over the top, focused on making tackles, forcing Oregon to execute. This is that right there. And this is Lassiter making a good enough play to, kind of put them into 3rd down.
Yeah, that's a great play. That's what you want on 2nd down, and that down a distance right there is just, not give up the first down, push him to the boundary. Really textbook. Yeah.
And so you got Tresman Marshall in coverage here. Really good read by him, because this is cover 0, I think, or maybe cover 1, but he doesn't have what looks like safety help here on 3rd and 3. Like, there's one safety in the middle of the field. And so if this running back catches it, he's going to run for a long time, and he makes the direct angle to basically get in between that ball and the running back and break that pass up.
It could have been. Could have been off.
Yeah,
these
pass
are
interference.
Yeah.
You could see he came out of his route to try to chip him a little bit, but
there's a lot of that in this game.
You also saw. We talked about this previously too, not on any show, but just together. You saw Oregon players blocking a little bit early. You saw a lot of kind of pick plays. That's kind of a rub wheel route that they're trying to use that wide receiver right there, engaging with the DB to actually take JDJ off of his angle for that route, and it just didn't work, which is great.
Yeah, for sure.
You ready for 21, Graham?
Yeah, so here we go. Next Oregon drive. Georgia's up 7-0. This is it's obvious right here. You're going to see how Chris Smith fills this running lane as the safety, but Robert Beal does a really nice job of stringing this play outside towards the help, and that's kind of what we didn't see on the first drive from Williams and some of these other young edges, was them staying kind of assignment sound and not diving inside on those. There, Beal does enough to push out that play towards the good guys. And then watch number 13, Michael Williams here, shows his athleticism getting into the gap, but he over pursues, takes himself out of the play. Monken, number 2, the inside linebacker, he's going to whiff on a tackle right here in the hole. And now Starks is coming in from the safety spot. So you've had 2 guys that could have made the play. The third one does. You're going to want to clean that up, basically. It's an easy 10-yard run. And then here we're going to see Lassiter, number 3, defensive back, top of your screen. He's going to come in off, basically does not allow himself to get blocked up, wraps up well. It's a good job and support by him, not being blocked. And then better here from Javon Bullard. So he's 22. He's the guy that's kind of right above the 4 on the 40-yard line there. And he's a little bit wrapped up, but he does enough to get off square himself and keep that from turning into a big chunk play.
And next play on the third down.
Yep. And then, so Monken, he's going to come free into the backfield, and he just doesn't quite make the play. It's like he's thinking too hard of where's the ball, and these fakes are kind of getting to him a little bit. I also thought Stackhouse, the nose tackle, 78, he gets washed out a little bit there. He's got to be able to hold his space a little bit better if he's going to play nose tackle for an SEC team.
So they pick up the first down. This is clip 26.
Yeah, and so this is going to be the deep shot where they try to go on Starks, and he makes probably the best interception you're going to see made all year. This is an incredibly athletic play, like not just the catch, but it's just beautiful coverage. He picks up that free runner, flips his hips, finds the ball. It's what, this is a 5-star, like 5-star plus kind of thing happening right before your eyes.
Yeah, I loved it. I mean, I also think just the awareness, like, Starks, young kid, put himself in position to make plays all day. He led the team in tackles, which I know, we'll talk about some of the stats probably in a little bit, but not just the athleticism, but just being in that position. I mean, it's not I don't think people realize how difficult, a lot of people probably do, but just how difficult it is to start as a true freshman in this type of a defense and put yourself in a position to make that play against a very, very athletic wide receiver for Oregon, which is great.
Absolutely.
And then we're going to 34, Graham.
Yes, sir. So next Oregon drive. So this is how you want to see Georgia defend the run. Nolan Smith is going to jump the gap on the backside. Ingram Dawkins is on that edge towards the ball. He gets off his block, sets it. The result is them meeting at the ball carrier. It's good disruptive play. Smith really, really jumps in that gap off that right tackle side. And then you're going to see on the very next play here, he's lined up against the left tackle, and he's going to give the same work to the left tackle as he gave to the right tackle. He's going to jump this gap and make a play on the ball. So 2 really good plays by him in run support. Georgia's run defense was noticeably better when he was on the field versus when he was not, in my opinion.
All right. Clip 39. John, you had something else?
Oh, no. I was just going to say, what we saw last year is Georgia winning those one-on-one battles across that front, that defensive front. That's what you saw in those 2 plays, like just guys just winning assignments. And I think one of the things that, Georgia is definitely going to have to work on is when you rotate in, it was very clear, Nolan Smith being a good example of that. It's very clear there are different combinations where you can get more wins across that front than others. And last year, that's a big difference between this defense and last year's. Last year, you rotated in a lot of guys, and it kind of didn't matter. You were rotating in guys, and you thought no matter what that front 7 was, you had a good chance of winning those one-on-ones on almost every play. And this year there are a few guys where it's like yeah, if you got these two in there as part of that front five, you have a better chance than if you have the other folks. So it's going to be an interesting dynamic to see how Muschamp and Schumann, figure out the rotations to get the best guys in to win up front.
I like it.
So
Clip
36,
39 or 36?
36.
36.
Yep. Yeah, 3rd and 8. So this is one of those where you'd like to see Monken play a little bit better. He's those kind of rub type screen plays we were talking about from Oregon. He's going to get caught on one of these, and so space is going to open up for the running back. Kind of a similar play to what they tried to run towards Tresman Marshall on that first 3rd down that we showed you. But this time the concept works. He just kind of has to run around that screen, and that's really enough to make the space for him to not make the tackle before the sticks. And so when we go to this play 39, next 3rd down, now they're going to run it at him to the opposite side. That they're going to pick on Monken again. I'm wondering if there's something Lanning may have known, honestly, that he gave to Dillingham, or just that's just kind of what they do. But I mean, this one's pretty blatant. They just run a receiver right at him. And so honestly, he might be better off just running straight into that dude and blowing him up and getting the officials' attention and probably putting a stop to that for the rest of the game. But he's a freshman or a redshirt freshman out there trying to, not piss his coaches off. So, and then here you go. This is the INT for Christopher Smith. Came right on the heels of that horse collar call on him. I think that pissed him off a little bit. But yeah, he just reads Bo Nix like a book.
God, where was Bo Nix throwing that ball, guys? I mean, you saw the replays of Dillingham saying Bo, but when you look at that play, I mean, I've watched this play 5 or 6 times now, and I have no idea where he was trying to go with that ball.
He never ever
nobody. I mean, no one.
Yeah. He never ever takes his eyes off the receiver. Never even tries to pretend he's going somewhere else.
No.
All right,
but he throws it over there in the triple coverage at least.
47.
There we go.
So this is why Monken is your starter at inside linebacker. Look at that. Really nice play. Strings it out. Reads it well. Him and Dumas Johnson get there together. Just nice work from your inside linebacker duo. You see the athleticism. He's chasing down a running back that I thought actually, played pretty well in this game in space. It's good stuff. Clip 48, next play. The pass rush here is good, but Ringo kind of loses contact with his wide receiver at the snap. He just gives away inside leverage. He's kind of playing this too far towards the boundary. And right there, he's beat, basically. So, yeah, easy connection for Oregon.
51.
Yep. So we're going to see Ringo and Monken again here at the bottom of the screen. A little bit of a miscommunication in coverage. You see Ringo pointing out to the wide receiver right here. He's going to drop out, and he's pointing. And this might actually be Starks.
Yeah,
it is Starks.
It is. Yeah.
But I don't know what the call was. But again, my guess would be Keeley's probably right because he played in the system for an entire year. So yeah. And then 57.
51. No,
we just did 51.
Okay.
So 3rd down in the red zone. George is going to dial up a nice blitz here. It's not getting a sack type of blitz, but it serves the purpose of speeding up his clock on 3rd down and getting the ball out. And Starks almost makes another interception, but I think the bigger kind of large purpose takeaway is he's very comfortable in man coverage as a boundary corner. You can line him up anywhere on the field.
Big takeaway.
And we jump all the way to 76.
Yeah, so we're going to go to the second half here. First defensive play of the second half, and the run defense has already adjusted and gotten better. You're going to see Michael, number 13, kind of work back and keep the play in front of him instead of getting washed out. And Nolan Smith has this like wide split in case he needs to drop into coverage, which means your edge is really wide. And so he's able to just kind of crash down there. But good run defense. Good run defense is usually like, giving up 3 yards on first down. Don't get used to last year where Georgia was just like, no, we will not allow a single yard rushing in the entire game. And then here, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No. You're right. I think the expectation has definitely been reset. What I'll also say is I do think when you look at what Oregon was trying to do with some of the quick game and some of the motion, I think that there's not a. It'll be interesting to see how many teams try to go back to that, because I think Georgia will continue to get better and better at reading some of that, and so I do think the run defense will get better as a result too.
Yeah, I mean, it was very much a first game, like the old cliche of you make your biggest improvement between game 1 and game 2 is usually true, which I know it's Samford, but I am very interested to see how Georgia plays against the run on Saturday. So this is the next play after what we just showed you. This is going to be one of the few blitzes Georgia had all day. They do a nice job of getting Nix flushed, and then Dumas Johnson does a really good job, fights through that running back in pass pro right there and drops Bo. His responsibility on that play is to spy Nix, and he's not supposed to take off and blitz unless he knows he can tackle him, and he makes the tackle. So credit to him. I personally thought that of all the inside linebackers, he was the one that just kind of was most consistent in assignment sound on Saturday.
Agree.
78.
Yeah, so 3rd and 7, Georgia, I think, is thinking pass, and they get caught. Nolan Smith and Jalen Carter are both going to pursue a little too far upfield, expecting a pass. Williams gets blocked out of the play, and you basically have a little kind of draw play for a first down. But I don't like Oregon's offensive line was good. I mean, like, that was not any reason why they lost this game. I thought were one of the better offensive lines Georgia's probably going to see all year. Looking at what those guys did last year and what they returned, I think that's a fair statement. But
79.
Yep. So you're going to have just kind of what I would refer to as good team pass rush. Everybody's penetrating upfield, making plays. You get the tip ball. You speed people up, you speed quarterbacks up, you get in their face, good things happen. This is almost another turnover. So thought it was nice to see that upfield surge by 4-man rush.
And we got a 91.
Yep. So Ringo is going to rerun here. And John, you and I were talking about this. Like, we thought, like, don't get me wrong, like, it's his guy, so it's his responsibility, but the receiver basically blocks him like it's a run play. And and he's engaged. I mean, the receiver is engaged. I don't know. I'll have to relook at the rules, but he's engaged what I feel like is past that 3 yards. 3 yards. Yeah. Because if you look at the line of scrimmage, I mean, he comes off and he's blocking, right? Like, he's pushing him into 4 or 5 yard territory. Right. So Keeley obviously,
I think it's right on the line there.
Yeah. Well, but he's moving it. But the point is, I guess he's moving into get off the block and play the run. And that's what allows this guy to get as open as he got.
I had an interesting angle. I'm on the opposite 30-yard line looking down the field at this one. And I thought I saw it happen. I'm like, oh Lord. And then he just threw a lazy ball. I mean, ball was in the air forever. And I was like,
can of corn. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was just like, I was screaming. It's like, that's a hospital throw, dude. You're gonna get the guy killed, man.
Yeah.
And that's
Hospital throw.
that's not
Yeah.
I got that recently. I don't know who that's from, but I love it because that's what.
Well, I mean, the other side of it too is like it almost gets Christopher Smith killed. I mean, like he makes a very clean play, and it's a great play. But like, if I'm Kirby and staff, I'm not super happy that my preseason All-American defensive back left a free runner, way deep into the secondary, and I might, my starting safety may separate his shoulder and be lost for the season in a game where I'm up 42 points. Like, which is also on me for having him in up 42 points, right? Yeah. But
nobody would have asked that, but yeah. All right, let's here we go with 93 next play, I guess, right?
Yeah. 92. I'm sorry.
92.
Yep.
Yeah. Nope. Let me get 92 up.
Yeah, there you go. So yeah, this is good Mondon right here. He's gonna play this perfectly. He's Nix's spy, and he isn't supposed to take off unless he can get to him. He doesn't make the sack, but he's there to keep a running lane from appearing. And it's just gonna basically force Bo to throw the ball away. So it's good. You'd like to see him wrap it up, but it's just you can see why he's starting. Like you can see the athletic ability. He's clearly one of the best athletes on the field. Just
all day.
Yeah, all this will fall into place for him.
Graham likes to hear me go, whoops. There's 93.
I'm used to it. So, yeah, pass rush, I thought Georgia never really tried to, like, bring the house too much, but it was more disruptive in the second half as Oregon tried to do more downfield. Warren Brinson, 97, right there, makes a nice penetration. Moves Nix off the spot on a third down, and he just gets flushed right and has to throw it away. So it's a good play. All right, so this is interesting, 103 that we're about to go to. So pause it right there. That looks like a 4-3 to me with Malachi Starks as an outside linebacker. Which, we all know Kirby plays what he calls a 3-4, which is actually a 4-2-5 with 2 inside linebackers and 5 defensive backs. And I guess this is technically still a 4-2-5 if we're calling Malachi Starks a defensive back. But we heard throughout his recruitment, the big question was like, is this guy going to play safety or a linebacker? I think the answer is he's going to play whatever they want him to play in any given moment in time. So I thought it was interesting to see that alignment. Sometimes Kirby and even Monken will they'll put like some little Easter eggs, so to speak, like in the fourth quarter film when no one's paying attention. So I don't know. Keep an eye out for Starks to line up anywhere at all. Hell, he might play quarterback before the season's over. We don't know.
I wish somebody would give me a prop on him catching a pass this year because I would take it right now.
I would too. And I would take Dylan Bell throwing it.
Yep, absolutely.
So this
105, yeah. Chambliss is getting in.
Yeah, so you got Chambliss here on the bottom of your screen, and just thought he did a nice job when he came in the game. He sets this edge, forces that running back inside. Everybody, Mike Hell's in there doing good work, still kind of chopping away, giving him reps to get better. And then 110, David Daniel Sisavon.
Hang on.
He's going to come up and wreck the house at safety. I think he's one to keep an eye on as Christopher Smith, leaves after this year. He could be the next hard-hitting Georgia safety to step in line.
Very, very, very physical kid, for sure.
For sure.
Yeah.
And then 120 or –
yeah. 120, we get Tiki Smith in the game. Number 23, he does a good job of fighting through a block here. It's just nice to see him getting on the field. A lot of people have asked questions about him this offseason, so there he is. He does exist. Still playing, all that good stuff. But, yeah, I mean, that's a good physical play against a bigger blocker, taking him down.
And 123.
Yeah, so Bill Norton is in the game at kind of defensive tackle, 45 there. And I think he played – I thought this was a stop. This is 4th and 1 here. Norton busts in here. Starks gang tackles with him. I don't see that ball get to the line. I think they gave him a mercy first down. If I was Kirby, I would have challenged it just to make a statement of alpha dominance on
49. Yeah,
there was
49-3.
There was one guy in that section 106 is right in front of that was ready to go home. Oh god, inside baseball there, guys.
Love it.
Yeah.
124.
124. David Daniel again, 14, the safety. He's going to be a good player. Again, nice. I mean, he looks like Christopher Smith filling a run lane right there. Last play of the game right here. I don't really have anything to highlight. This maybe could have been a touchdown pass if Bo Nix threw the ball accurately, but it's just to say, like, kind of how you do anything is how you do everything as a football team. And you saw this from Georgia's defense last year where third string guys would be in the game and the first teamers would be like jumping up and down on the sidelines, screaming not to give up a touchdown. And you saw it again on Saturday. And I think that is a good sign for Georgia fans that culture seems to not have been like a one and done type of thing. It seems like it's kind of just permeating through the program now.
Yeah, and folks should also know it's not just gimmicky, right? Like this isn't just, oh, we're cheering for these guys, to just try to keep them out of the end zone just to preserve it. Like it's an actual Kirby mentioned at the beginning of last season. He hasn't mentioned it this year, but last year he's like, hey, defense, we want to prevent explosive plays. We want to hold them under 13 points. I mean, they have like point goals. They have, things that they are working on as a unit, as a collective unit, all the way through those second and third deep positions on the depth chart. So when these guys are cheering, it's not just the rah, keep them out of the end zone. It's actual, there's actual goals that they put in place for everybody on the defense. So it's great to see that continuing for sure.
We were talking before Graham jumped on the call, and there was obviously going to be some regression, whether that's, but we all knew the defense was talented. And one of the areas that I kind of expected it was just Georgia's defense was elite, end zone to end zone, quarter to quarter play, every single thing about them. But I did expect, they really did shut down teams when they got in their scoring opportunities of around the 40-yard line and inside the red zone and stuff like that. So I filtered it out, they obviously kept them out of the end zone scoring a touchdown, but they had a 50% rush success rate inside the 40-yard line on Georgia's side of the ball and 40% on pass. So those are not great numbers for an offense, but they're not what Georgia fans are used to. But still, they buckled down. They didn't allow the big plays. And there was a question on the forum about, is this a bend don't break offense? I mean, I definitely think there'll be. I don't want to categorize it as a bend don't break, because I do think that a regression is going to go into that area where it was just a lead all the way around. But still, I don't see this defense getting scalded for 35 points in a key game. Yeah,
I agree with that. I mean, I also think like 2020, I think I dropped this in 12 takeaways thread, but like the 2021 Georgia gave up 28% touchdowns in the red zone, which was the lowest in college football since 2016 LSU. So is that number kind of has to go up, right? Like there's got to be some variance or some regression to the mean. I also think though that we're in a spot. Did you know our screen is dark?
I did not.
Cool. But yeah, that we're in a spot where I think that, we will see Georgia still be very difficult to score on the red zone. I think that what Kirby Smart has done is kind of designed on saying, hey, come in, you can have these yards in between the, 30s if you want, but once we get down here and the field shrinks, like I got better players than you, and we're going to man up and we're going to be able to hold you down.
But possibly, let me jump in on that. You talked about that TD allowed regression or whatever, but also there wasn't a lot of turnovers in that side of the field. Not for a defense as elite it was. So there could be we could see that. We could see a lot, because you would expect that defense to have more turnovers. I expect that maybe we'll get some big plays and get some picks and some fumbles on those in those spots.
Yeah. Well, if the mantra holds from last year, prevent explosive plays, try to keep them under 13 points, you're going to see a lot of that bend don't break, in my opinion, because if you're trying to prevent explosive plays, you're going to give up a lot of what we saw Georgia give up on Saturday with those underneath intermediate throws, some of that stuff on the edge. Like, it's just going to happen. But yeah, it'll be interesting. The red zone touchdown percentage is definitely something to watch, because I do see that going up, and I see Georgia, an elite football team, which Georgia was last year. Georgia's had elite defenses the last few years, is holding teams under 13 points, and I do see quite a few teams being able to get into that 17 20-point range this year on this team. I just see it. The good news is, which we're going to segue into here in a minute, is the offense, right? If you're giving up 17 to 21, you're going to outscore everybody on this schedule that I've seen far, because this offense is absolutely lethal.
Yeah, I mean, I think one last thing I'll say about the defense, and this is kind of just a question for both of you, like, which team do you think has more athletes that can stress Georgia's defense, Oregon or South Carolina? This should be an easy question.
I think South Carolina.
I think Oregon.
It's Oregon, yeah. I think athletes. I think you had the most athletic wide receiver.
That wide receiver core
that Georgia's going to see for a while. Yeah,
I mean, there's 3 former top 8 wide receiver in their class guys on the field on Saturday for Oregon. So I guess my thought, I mean, the point I'm driving at is, like, I think you saw Georgia look really young and kind of, get caught on some misdirection stuff and some of these pick plays and all of that. I think that gets cleaned up over the next 4 to 6 weeks. And then these guys are just athletic enough to where, like, they'll be in position to make plays. So it's damn near impossible for Georgia's defense not to regress off last year. And I'm with you. I think, you're going to see somebody score more than 17 points on them at some point this year, probably. Maybe Tennessee, while they give up 59 to Georgia. But, like,
you heard it first, 59-17. Let's go.
Yeah.
Hey, I'll take it right now. Give it to me.
Yeah, that's probably pretty close. But I do think, though, that, like, this defense is going to get better over the next few weeks. And, you go to South Carolina next week after Samford. South Carolina had a net yard per play disadvantage against Georgia State. Had to block 2 punts to really, like, pull away in that game. Like, I wouldn't. Like, they always get up to play Georgia, don't get me wrong, but, like, is Spencer Rattler and a bunch of tight ends going to be the thing that stresses Georgia's defense? Probably not. Like, probably not.
Probably not. All right, let's jump into the offense.
Okay.
Clip 9. No,
Get off my soapbox.
We love your soapbox.
We're fading Spencer Rattler this weekend. All right, clip 9. So, start the game with a little RPO action. Bowers, Brock B should have picked up the outside man, but he just double teams that blocker that Darnell is on. So kind of actually had potential for being a decent play, but they don't get all the way off to that edge and get to the right defender. But I'm sorry, that's fine. That's good.
10. What do you want to go back to 9?
No, that's it. Well, I would just say this RPO right here on 9, or no, just go to that. Just go to 10. That's
okay.
Fine. Okay. So this was nice. Darnell Washington comes out, locks up his man. Downfield blocking is the theme of this entire offensive segment here. Broderick Jones comes down, gets the double team with Darnell. Ratledge gets downfield. Looks like he was a little hobbled. Not quite all the way himself yet, but lots of big bodies downfield. If Ratledge gets to that guy, that's a perfect scenario, but he's a 330-pound man trying to get 12 yards downfield. So we're not gonna give him too hard of a time here. Clip 11, we told you guys on the film preview that I at least felt like this game broke down for Oregon with their inside linebackers and pass coverage. Monken starts it off here. Washington, Darnell is going to get an incredible block on the edge. And then you just see McIntosh outrun Justin Flo to the edge of the field. That's him right there, diving at McIntosh's feet. And this kind of is how it went all day long. Yeah, so 12, again, great effort on downfield blocking. You know, like this is just you like go back to the Clemson game last year, and this is the exact opposite of what was happening in that game.
Yep.
So,
and they were running. Georgia was running a similar scheme, like that play in particular. They ran it a few times versus Clemson last year, and you just didn't have. I mean, you had guys that were in their first game at wide receiver in college that didn't know how to block.
Yeah,
and that's a totally different. Yeah,
Jermaine Burton looking like he was dealing with a bull in the ring. Olay.
There you go. That too.
All right. Clip 13. Todd Monken. We know Todd Monken is about matchups. He may even watch this show. We're not sure. But you got McIntosh in the slot, manned up on Justin Flo. Burnt toast right there. Easy pickings. It's what we talked about on our preview. Georgia's skill guys.
That balance from McIntosh is insane, man. That guy.
McIntosh may have a second life as a ballerina.
I mean, it's incredible. He did it a few times this weekend, and we've seen it. We've seen it before from him as well.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, on that one, you see Kendall Milton's gonna dip inside here and kind of miss this blitz pickup. He should have been one gap to his left there, but it's okay because Stetson Bennett is a mobile quarterback. He just gets out, dumps it out. I think this was a big difference we saw. Just him not feeling the pressure to make a play every single down and just getting the ball into the bench and living the fight.
Check that graphic on the screen right there. Last season, Georgia 46% third down conversion, which was 5th in the SEC. Much better.
90%.
Yeah. 90% on third down.
Starting offense was 100% too.
Yeah.
This throw, I'm sorry.
Oh no, you're good. Which comes down to Stetson Bennett's decision making, I think, on not scrambling around and getting sacked, not trying to force a ball, like getting in actual manageable third down situations.
Yeah, and this was really, I think this was the longest third down they had of the day. It was on the first drive, 3rd and 11. This throw from Bennett made me stand up a little bit. Yeah, so you're going to see Roseme, as soon as he hits his break, this ball is released, and it's right. I mean, like, perfect route by him. But Bennett looks off that safety. Or I'm sorry, he doesn't look off the safety. He's looking in the slot initially. He's looking at Bowers, sees that next defender kind of coming over top there, and just immediately whips it outside to Roseme with a more favorable matchup.
But the timing, man, the timing was so good on that throw. So good.
Watch it one more time at real speed.
Yeah, you got those two defenders right there. If you hesitate, you're caught in no man's land right there. And he didn't at all. It was great.
Clip 18.
Clip 18. It's just one of these little Stetson kind of zone read keepers. It's 100% designed. I love that Monken runs 1 to 2 of these a half with Bennett because it freezes linebackers. It makes them think about other stuff, and it helps your running backs get more lanes in the middle of the field. So just giving some props to Monken here. All right, so clip 19, Bennett you're gonna see here at the snap, he's gonna put his eyes on Darnell, who is lined up. Here's your inline tight end at the bottom of the line of scrimmage on your screen. And he's just gonna use those eyes to move this linebacker, number 33, the one that's on Darnell's left shoulder. You see him dropping back with Darnell, and he's using that to open up, keep his one-on-one matchup with A.D. Mitchell, and it's just a nice, easy pickings. Oh, yeah, you get a good angle of it here. Yeah, so you see his head cocked right, comes back to the middle of the field. Nice job of looking off defenders.
Where are we? 20?
Yep. And you're going to see Brock Bowers and A.D. Mitchell. They're going to absolutely abuse people with their downfield blocking here.
Yeah, I mean, this one, I'm sure you guys have all seen it on Twitter or social media, the end zone cam from somebody from Georgia guy, and just AD's just, I sent that to every Pac-12 fan I could find in my contacts to say this is.
My favorite comment about this from this angle right here, somebody said A.D. Mitchell sent that DB to the shadow realm, which is just like made him disappear.
Pretty much did.
Yeah.
All right, so second drive, clip 27. Watch the right side of the offensive line. Ratledge and McClendon at right guard and right tackle. They get blown down the line here pretty hard. And they're the guys that are supposed to be blocking just smash into the gap. If your right tackle is all the way over at the left hash with his back turned to the right hash, it's usually not a great sign. So, something to watch for.
And 28 is
this is Darnell just
being Darnell.
Yeah, go on. Raise up off of me.
Breaks the tackle. Goes air Darnell.
Jumps the dude.
Which you're not supposed to be able to do that.
At 280.
Speed. At 280 in pads, full speed, with the vision as well. Like you're having to have your awareness around which guys are coming at you. All that going into place. And just hurdling a grown man. It's amazing.
I was told that Stetson didn't throw it deep.
Well, here, hold on a second. Start this over. So, do you remember the deep ball to Pickens in the first half in Indy, the first big play of the game for Georgia, when did the fake end around to Brock Bowers and threw it, the diving catch? So, on that play, they ran Darnell Washington on a crossing route over the middle of the field with Bowers on the fake end around. Here, they're going to still do kind of this fake end around type toss action, but this time they're going to let Bowers run the crossing route. He does a really good job of getting off this jam here and then just moves away from the guy who's guarding him. But yeah, you could tell Bennett looks downfield first. Like he looks at A.D. Mitchell first and just doesn't see the separation he's looking for. But I like this. Like this is Todd Monken variating a little bit, like doing something that he knows his quarterback already knows how to do, but instead of doing it out of 13 personnel, he's doing it out of 12 personnel. He's moving some guys into different spots. And when you're facing a defensive coordinator that used to be in your building, it's a pretty good idea.
Yeah. He also, on that play, he keeps Darnell Washington in pass protection. So he sends him over. So if you look, he comes around, which is part of faking the end around, but he also, I love that idea too. The guy just caught a pass, broke a tackle, hurdled a guy, and now you keep him in, but you keep him in on pass protection, but they have to account for him. Even with the even with the formation, maybe not necessarily having him even be an eligible receiver necessarily, but you got to account for him because of just who he is, which is just
great. I mean, he just did that big play on the little boot.
Yeah.
Clip 31.
Clip 31. Same exact formation that they were just on, and they're going to play action this to the opposite side. McConkey is going to come out in space, absolutely break that dude's ankles, almost score a touchdown.
Just this is on skates, man.
Yeah, and I mean, Todd Monken is just kind of like the push and pull chess match that he's doing with everybody. I'm going to roll left. I'm going to roll right. I'm going to throw my tight ends at you. I'm going to throw this little skinny white dude that can do all sorts of stuff. So, yeah. Georgia gets stood up on the goal line, and then you get the fake. I really like the psychological warfare here, though, because they put Jalen Carter on the field in the jumbo package, like they're going to, just do the fullback thing. And this is something else that defenses are going to have to account for down the road now when he comes into the game. They've like, oh, well, I saw on tape this Bennett dude shooting out to the edge, and that gives you a better numbers advantage blocking in the box. So all of these things matter.
Yeah, and that half a second that Stetson held the ball as well on that fake. I mean, it was just so well executed that
very David Green-esque.
Very much.
He was the best I'd seen at it at Georgia.
Hiding the ball on his hip and all that. Yeah. Stetson even like hops away from the play, turns his head, hides that ball. It was well done.
Yeah.
Next possession.
Yeah. So Darnell at the bottom of the line of scrimmage as an inline tight end. He's going to get this block on the edge defender, and then he gets another chip on the backside pursuit.
Just for fun.
Yeah, just for good measure.
And you got Oregon defenders running toward the other sideline, trying to loop around. Like you just have guys. You have guys all discombobulated.
So this is another. So Bennett, he comes back here, calls his grandmother, makes a nice ham sandwich, and then it's A.D. Mitchell for 27 yards on the sideline. So great pass protection, obviously. But this is a really impressive throw because he does have a guy bearing down on him by the time he delivers this. And he's sitting back there. You can kind of see him weighing like risk reward. I'm up 14-0. It's 2nd and 16. Do I throw it there? No. But I mean, like, that's not an easy throw. He lofts it over one defender, hits Mitchell. It's a good play. It's a really good play. But remember, his ADOT was only 5-point-something yards, which is 115th in the FBS. So he's not improved.
We just lost Parker. God.
We never had Parker.
We love Parker. 40. What are we on? I'm on 44.
Yep. Look at Cedric Van Pran here taking folks for a ride, dude. God. All the way. Does that go all the way through? You can see him like just on the edge of your screen finish.
Look at the 10-yard line right there. He's going to send this guy to the Gatorade table. He's just going to walk him right over for a drink of water.
Yeah. It's like the scene in The Blind Side.
Yeah. God.
Then 45.
Brutal.
Yeah, Mims at right tackle. Him and Bowers absolutely mauling folks on the right side of the offensive line. They push these dudes a few yards upfield and seal them off. I don't know why Kendall Milton tried to bounce that inside because I would think he could have scored if he'd gone outside. But
yeah, just go to the pylon.
Yeah. And then Rosemy, Darnell Washington, Brock Bowers on the right side here look like a trio of 1980s fullbacks. Rosemy was the highest graded run blocker on the entire team Saturday, if you were wondering. He happens to be a wide receiver, but
he happens to have gotten the start as well.
Yeah,
on the
exactly that reason.
Yep, for that reason. Yep.
Yeah. All right. So clip 59. Josh has all sorts of papers going on here.
What? You gave me a lot of notes.
I didn't know you printed them out. That's impressive. Man. Analog. I am in love with this RPO. It's not complete, but it reminds me of the Nick Marshall Auburn play against Alabama in the kick six game to tie the game. If they start using Stetson's legs like this with RPOs to get out on the perimeter and suck safeties up and then take advantage of one-on-one, that probably could have been pass interference, but it wasn't. It's fine.
Number 11 liked it.
Yeah, that concept right there is
so
something that I would keep an eye on down the road. And then, okay, next play. Great route by Ladd. Just this little hook route. Shows himself in the middle of the field. Makes his numbers visible. You know, it feels like him and Stetson have like this very good kind of chemistry. A lot of Monken's offense is option route based where it's dependent on wide receiver and quarterback making the same read, and it seems like those two make the same read 99% of the time.
64?
64, yeah. So we knew this would come at some point. An Oregon linebacker in coverage and Kenny McIntosh on a wheel route. That's just abuse right there. He's 5 yards free, almost a touchdown. And then, yeah, I mean, really nice delivery by Bennett, though. That's kind of an awkward throw to make to a guy that's moving away from you that fast and sort of at that angle. So, and then, yeah, this is Stickwavius for Heisman right here. Don't know what else to say.
His one shining moment.
That's exactly right. Yeah. My wife was not with me at the game on Saturday, but she texted me after this play, and like, she's not a very big football person, but she was like, that was actually cool. That man's got himself a new haircut. He's feeling himself. I was like, that's about right, actually.
He got the fade and became a dual threat.
Yeah.
In a big way.
It's a dual threat quarterback, Georgia.
I don't know if they showed it on TV, but after he came off the field, Kirby talked to him for a long time after that play and that throw. We all loved it. It was all good. It was kind of like telling Ringo to go down in the natty. You know, it was like good result. I'm not sure he was happy with the process of it. Is that fair?
If you look at the play, you've got two guys running drag. You've got a flat route and you got a drag route in the back of the end zone from a tight end, and so you have Kenny McIntosh, and then I think it was Bowers in the back of the end zone. And so, if Stetson gets the ball out quicker on that play, you got guys with a little bit of separation at the beginning of the play, and you don't end up in a situation where you almost take a sack and you're, in a worse situation in the red zone. And that's probably what Kirby was getting on him about, because we all love it as fans. Like, it's like incredible, but if he gets sacked right there, we also are all probably, punching our TV screens watching the replay.
And Grant,
he throws a pick.
Yeah,
Yep.
Grant, that was right in front of you. It was I was on the other side. And
you could see Ladd jumping up and down, waving his arms for like what felt like, a half of a minute. Like, everybody in the section was like, throw it to Ladd.
Yeah, I mean,
so
I couldn't really see him, and I thought he was throwing it away. And then I was like, oh. And then by the time the ball came down, it was just comical.
I've seen people speculate on Twitter that he was throwing it to Darnell. He was not throwing it to Darnell. He was throwing it to Ladd. That said, I mean, he even said himself, like, it's probably not a play I should make in this situation. Like, we're at the goal line. I think it's first or second down. Like, we can live to fight another play. But it's going to be on the reel everywhere. Yep. I mean, it reminds me of the Tua play that he made in the opener against Louisville a few years ago, where he tossed it in the back to Judy while he was getting hit.
Yeah, I mean, it was easy, low hanging fruit. Be like, he's trolling Bo Nix at this point, because it looked like
I think it was Jim in the text thread that said, like, Stetson Bennett is what I was promised Bo Nix would be, which is actually kind of a little bit accurate.
70 McConkey time.
Amazing.
All right, look how he sets up this move in the open field. He's gonna run straight at this dude after he gets the ball, and then just like, it's kind of reminiscent of the no-Sean cut versus Auburn on the blackout, but yeah, it just comes right at him and then goes right away.
Sorry, I'll play that again, and then we're on to 72, right?
Yep. Yeah, watch this at full speed. Easy. Boop. Yeah. Like, he does that to everybody. And
he did it in for folks who don't know, he was doing it in scrimmages to Keely Ringo and everybody else. I mean,
I believe it.
He was he's been doing that all off season, really embarrassing even some of Georgia's players in practice with that move.
I mean, he made some people look silly on Saturday. All right, clip 72. Darnell on the perimeter blocking the screen against man coverage is almost a cheat code at this point, truthfully. Like, just kind of unfair. You're not going to get around that dude in a one-on-one situation. And I like seeing McIntosh lined up high like that. That's nice. And then, all right, so yeah, you're kind of seeing here like the Cyril's Monken philosophy of let's pull our linemen, let's get athletic linemen downfield. Xavier Truss does a nice job getting out front downfield. Broderick Jones does a fantastic job sealing that outside lane. Great athletic line play outside of the box. Jones is 59 right there. He gets that block at the line. Comes around, boom, and then you've got Truss locked up. So thought it was nice work from the OL.
And 75 the next play.
Yeah. So Tate Ratledge gets a little bit blown up right here, but he sticks with the play. You know, Milton just bounces to the other side of him where his man is, and then goes. So I thought it was a really nice cut and go by Milton.
Yeah, anybody who was worried about the running back room probably felt a little better after Saturday.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
All right, let me cue up 87 here.
84.
84. What you said.
We're almost done. We got like 6 plays left. All right. It's been a long one. Sorry, guys.
No, dude, they eat this. We've got a bunch of people watching.
Nice.
And as I talk over the play, you guys didn't come here.
So, yeah, I like this little pop pass to Dejan Edwards. And, again, great downfield blocking. You get your big guys. You got Washington out there moving on the edge. It's nice. It's a nice little, you know.
Yeah, Ladd gets him an easy 10, 15 more yards there with that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yep. I love it.
And, yeah, and I thought Edwards, you know, we've never really seen him in the pass game before, but he had a couple nice plays in the pass game. So it's kind of good to know. I think he may be your second threat as a running back pass catcher. I don't know if that's Milton's game or not. Yeah, 87 here. So the offensive line was just much better in run blocking in the second half. And here they just load up and they get a bunch of push and they just, you know, just get there and start moving folks. And that's really the sign of I'm dominating a football game is that right there. And then I like this little.
Here's 87, and then I'm going to clip to 89 right after this.
No worries. Yeah, so you're going to have on 89, you get a wide bunch formation here at the bottom, and it kind of creates this one-on-one on the boundary up top for AD Mitchell. Bennett's going to freeze the cover 2 safety with his eyes and doesn't look towards AD until it's time to throw. Keeps that matchup. And this is a dime, dude. Like, say what you want about how Georgia attacked Oregon on Saturday, but when there were balls to be thrown downfield, they were very accurate. Incredible. And they were mostly to AD Mitchell.
We'll watch it full time, full speed here, and then we go.
Yeah. And I mean, just real quick, right? Like that's a full off season working with the same guys, getting all those reps, getting first team reps. I mean, I think, you know, everybody coming into the season, what I loved the national narrative around Stetson Bennett is kind of like everybody has this idea that every position can show improvement from year to year, except for quarterback, right? Like it feels like, oh, the quarterback position is the one that is not going to get any better. It seems like when you look at these lists of top college football quarterbacks and all these things, and I think Stetson Bennett has shown a ton of improvement with a full off season. Yeah.
I mean, like the way he got through reads and processed things.
Yep.
And I mean, that was his last throw of the day right there. That's a pretty nice way to clock out.
Pretty nice
for a day of work. All right. So we got Beck in the game, and this is a cool RPO concept. Kind of pulls it out, hits Kyrus. This is a good read by him, I thought. You got a numbers advantage up at the top of the screen. Your lineman there, you see him pulling around where it could have been a run play, but it was not. So nice to see your backup quarterback making a good read. Nice to see your offensive coordinator giving him an RPO type situation. So underrated storyline of this game was how Monken established Edwards as a receiving threat on tape for future opponents. And you see him do it again right here. And then clip 98. So you've got Eric Gilbert and Devin Willock in the game coming around on the pull there. Both of them, nice job hitting their assignments. I thought Willock, when he came in 77 at right guard, played very, very well. So something to keep an eye on. And then this is a good ball from Beck. Very next play. You're seeing the backup quarterback throwing. That's a big philosophical change from Kirby and Monken to let him come in. And
you're up 42-3. And the backup quarterback threw had 7 or 8 attempts?
6 or 7, yeah, something like that.
Yeah. Which is a huge change.
Yeah.
Philosophical.
And I mean, it was the third quarter. Like,
yeah,
I didn't feel like Georgia was being egregious in any way.
No. But it's the development. Yeah, well, it's the development and getting actual live game reps, right? I think there is a difference too, where you have Stetson Bennett as your starter, Carson Beck as your number 2 guy right now. Injury, preparation, all those things have to be taken into account. So yeah, I don't think it was egregious, but I do think that it's a pretty clear departure from what you may have seen last year or in years past.
All right, last play we've got on our script here, 1 or 2.
Yeah, so I like this play design for Monken, and the big thing here is watch number 7. That's Eric Gilbert. He's in the game. Look at this block. Beautiful job. Wipes him out, creates a hole. That's what springs the touchdown. There's all this conversation and question about Eric Gilbert that goes on all the time. How is he? How isn't he? All that stuff. Like, that play right there is how he gets more snaps. Like, that's something he's going to get kudos for in the film room.
Yep. And that's also what the staff has to see, right? So people were wondering, why Eric Gilbert, we didn't see more of him, or maybe why is he, 4th or 3rd or 4th down the depth chart of the tight ends. Well, first of all, you have Brock Bowers and Darnell Washington, which we've talked about ad nauseum, right? But number 2, those are the things you got to see in a game. You got to see it. Put him in live action, let him block, let him run a couple of routes, let him, and really see what he does. And I think Georgia will be really pleased with how he played, and you'll probably start seeing more of him as a result.
Agreed.
We did have one question in the chat that I thought was a good thing to hit on. So this is from our guy Jimmy Guthrie. Curious who everybody thinks most exceeded expectations and who most needs improvement. And Jimmy answered his own question, said he's going to go with Starks and as exceeded and Mondon as needs improvement. So what are your thoughts, Graham?
I think that's I actually like his answer a lot. I think I might go to the offensive line. Mm-hmm. I would say some of those backups exceeded expectations for me, like Mims and Willock.
Yep.
And, we saw a lot of those guys come in the game in the second quarter. It wasn't just garbage time out there beating up on a tired defense. So that was nice. And I kind of think some of the offensive linemen who started need a little bit of improvement. Ditto to some of the younger kind of defensive linemen. I think the line of scrimmage is where things were a little shaky, but the secondary and the skill players on offense were both really solid.
I like
it. What about you? What's your answer?
I'm gonna go with the guard position in general as needs most improvement for the starters. I think the guards in the 2 deep exceeded expectations, but I just think you get in those SEC games. I think that's going to be such a critical part of the position. Yeah. And what I'm going to say also that needs improvement is I do think that interior defensive line outside of Jalen Carter, those guys are probably going to have to step up a little bit. They were able to get some push. Oregon was running the quick game on them, so there wasn't a whole lot that they were kind of being asked to do. But there were some times where outside of Jalen Carter, where you had some of the other guys that weren't winning those one-on-ones as much as you are going to need them to. So those are my two. Offense and defense needs improvement. I think Starks exceeded my expectations. I expected the kid to be good. I did not expect the kid to really be dominant in on a lot of plays. And I also think Ladd McConkey exceeded my expectation on offense. Like, I think Ladd, we saw what he can do athletically, but I think if you watch him, we saw a lot of this last year, so it's hard to say exceeded expectations. But I mean, the guy was blocking. The guy was like finding himself open. He was making himself open when he wasn't open, breaking ankles. Like, just, it was really, really cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So Josh, what do you got on the screen here, man?
Oh, this was my stats recap. And I'll cue it back up. The overall yards per play obviously was just, you can't ask. Literally, you cannot ask for better yards per play.
4.6, huh?
Yeah, literally doubled them up. The EPA was minuscule. That EPA number for Georgia was actually negative on defense.
Yeah.
And when you're looking at head-to-head, just more explanation. The reason I don't have offense and defense is because they're correlated, obviously. So, you just take Oregon's offense, and that's what Georgia's defensive EPA allow would be. So, 0.01. I mean, just minuscule. And then this, we've been talking about bend don't break, that 48% success rate kind of leans to that. We were in the 36, 37, 38% a lot last year. So, and we saw Oregon move the ball, but certainly we talked about it. They stopped them in critical spots. Georgia's success rate elite again, 67%. 2 out of 3 plays were successful, and that was even higher through before garbage time. And then you can see the breakdown by pass and rush yards. If you want to say you'd like to see something, Graham, you perfectly called it out in the preview, and you showed it in the review of where Georgia can attack these linebackers, and they ran around them, not at them. They didn't have a lot of good runs between the tackles on any of those inside zone looks, but if you want to try, maybe we'll, like you said, send that Stetson RPO where he's running it. Maybe that opens up some lanes but even 5.3 is not embarrassing at all. It's just, you'd like to see that of 5.5, 5.7, somewhere like that. And then again, 73% pass success rate, just ridiculous. This could be just the beginning, not just an anomaly of a game for the Monken-led offense, which is pretty exciting. And then, here's it's broken down by down. And John, you talked about, Georgia was 5th in the SEC and third down, sort of efficiency last year, which I think is gracious. I think we had some stats that showed us even worse than that. Certainly third and long, it was quite bad. Third and long, and we converted a lot of third and longs, a lot of third and shorts. But yeah, look at that 90%. This total game, not garbage time filtered. And 2.389 explosiveness, or EPA, which you'd only add a couple more plays in there for the explosiveness rating, which is anything over 1.8 in that metric, especially on third down, is ridiculously good. And you can see they were just as good on first and second down with mid 60% success rate. So and that stat recap is available on the blog, Dog Stats blog and Dog Central. So if you want to look at these numbers, I've added some data that you can actually download. So if you're into this stuff, please go check it out and hit me up DM me on the site, and I can share. I'm always willing to share my data, and we'll be using this for not just all the Georgia games, but all the teams. You can see some of the stats. It's actually been rolling throughout the show on the bar underneath us. So that was a little stats minute with Dog Stats. Any questions?
Love it. No, it was great, man. Thank you. You, I think, wrote this down, but that offensive success rate, how far back did you have to go to find one that was better for Georgia?
I went, it's kind of like anything past 2003 was getting a little dicey. They didn't have all the games. But anyway, sure. I think those games they didn't have were like FCS games anyways, or non-FBS. So I filtered out all the FBSs, and the raw 68.8% success rate for the game was 4th or 5th best since 2000. And those were 3 games versus Tech and a Kentucky game. And then that Kentucky game was pretty interesting because somebody in Twitter was asking about when was the last time we threw that from that many yards, and there was one of the highest games. It was 17-13. We were throwing for 400 yards or 470 yards. I mean, it's just a different level of efficiency, and kind of one of those reasons you don't want to look just at raw stats, because if you just if you just do a certain website and look at someone that might be mixed stats, he's going to throw out all the historical stuff on there, but there's no context to that. Yeah, sure, 470 yards, but Georgia was fighting tooth and nail to get that win in Kentucky. And this game has actually had fewer yardage, but just 49 points. And it just tells you what these numbers can really kind of dig down and peel that layer of just raw stats off the top of them and stuff. So basically, it was like arguably, I would make the case that was the best offense we've seen since 2000, honestly.
Yeah, it reminded me of, and this was the number one non-garbage time success rate versus the Power 5 for Georgia since 2000 was that 2015 South Carolina game. The Steve Spurrier,
the Grayson Lambert game.
Yeah, the Steve Spurrier kind of retirement game. But this game reminded me a lot of that game, where you were just, Georgia was definitely
naming your score.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. There was not much that the other side of the ball could do to stop what was happening, and the incompletions and things like that. A lot of those were just throwing the ball away, right? Like just making good decisions.
Stetson only had one true incompletion in the first half.
Yeah, and so it definitely felt like that 52-20 beat down of South Carolina in 2015.
We made the old ball coach quit. He just quit.
Yeah, made his ass quit. Well, I think the other thing that was interesting was I did see Georgia's largest margin of victory ever against a ranked opponent, and also the tied for the largest margin of victory in college football history for an opening weekend game between two ranked opponents. So, like, Oregon, say what you want about Pac-12 and all of that stuff, but like, they're not a bad football team. Like, I saw Bo Nix make some bad decisions that allowed that game to get away from them very quickly, but they're particularly on the line of scrimmage, they have talent. So point being, like, I think what Georgia did, like, should be appreciated on a level that maybe it hasn't quite been nationally. And after Alabama, looks like a bunch of slappies against Texas this weekend. Maybe it will be. I don't know. We'll see. I'm just playing. I don't think Texas has a shot in hell.
No, I think, but I do think as we get further into the season, I do think what Georgia did on Saturday will be more appreciated by
the context.
Yeah, once you have more context, because we all know, and and I'll say this, and it's going to sound salty, but it's because I am salty about it a little bit. If Alabama did to Oregon what Georgia did to Oregon on Saturday, all we would hear is this
best
is
team ever.
The best,
yeah. Beat the Jaguars.
Exactly. This is the best Nick Saban team to ever exist. If that was Alabama on the field doing the same exact thing, and so with Georgia, it's Oregon is overrated. Dan Lanning was in over his head, like all these things. I think that narrative is going to get put to bed by the time you get to midseason, when you see that Oregon is probably going to be a pretty good team. They're not going to. I don't expect them to win, 10 or 11 games, but Oregon, I think
they win 9.
I bet they do. That's exactly what I was going to say. I bet Oregon's a 9-3 team, and I bet they are more competitive against some of the teams that folks think, maybe thinking today they won't be after seeing what happened with Georgia, because I just think Georgia's that good.
I'm with you.
Yep. All right.
All right, we're $1.20 in. Let's send these people. Thank you guys. We had a lot of people tuned in on YouTube. We appreciate that. Appreciate the comments. We're gonna be back on tomorrow, right?
Picks.
Yep. And talk some picks, some prize picks.
And if you haven't seen it on the screen, prize picks 100% deposit match. Code
$100
up to $100. Dogs Central, one word. Please, if you're into it, it's a lot of fun. We'll have our picks, but it helps us out because we're doing this sort of for fun, and we're just trying to make it as good as possible. We appreciate all the feedback. Please share, like, review, all that stuff. Subscribe, all that stuff. That's all I got. Anybody else got anything?
Subscribe to dogcentral.com for the best UGA intel and analysis. Just dropped 3 names last night of players who are committed to other schools that will visit Georgia, hopefully, speculatively, on the weekend of the Auburn game, October 8th. But couple names in there. One for sure that I know you have heard nowhere else. So come on down, join the community. There's been a lot of new subscribers over the last 72 hours. We want to keep the momentum going. So come join us.
Come join us. All right, y'all.